In today's world, it is almost impossible to imagine life without a smartphone. The small device we carry in our pockets has become one of the most powerful tools in human history. It is no longer just a phone, it is a camera, a classroom, a bank, a television, a newspaper, a map, and a social space all in one. In the past, communication was very different. Mobile phones were simple devices used mainly for calling and sending short text messages. People waited for replies. Conversations were slower but often more meaningful. Before smartphones became common, people met face to face more often. Friends visited each other physically, families gathered and talked about distractions. Life was less digital but more present. Now everything has changed. The introduction of smartphones and social media has completely transformed how we live. Platforms like WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Snapchat have made communication instant, visual, and constant. We are no longer just talk to people, we share our lives in real time. We post pictures, videos, opinions, and emotions. We follow people we do not know and sometimes spend hours watching their lives instead of focusing on our own. The smartphone has now become the center of everything. It is our alarm clock in the morning, it is our notebook in class, it is our entertainment during free time, it is our source of news, it is our camera for memories, it is even our wallet for payments. In Kenya today, mobile money has made the phone even more important. People no longer need to carry large amount of cash. With services like mobile money transfers, payment can be made instantly. Everyone just stares at their mobile phones. In restaurants, you can see people not engaging with each other, but strictly on their phones. But the influence of smartphones does not stop there. Even small business have changed because of this technology. Shows that smartphone is not only for entertainment, it is also a tool for work, survival, and growth. For example, Mumboga, who sells vegetables and daily household goods, now use phones to run their businesses. Customers call or text to place orders. Payments are made instantly through mobile money. Some even advertise their goods on WhatsApp groups. In the past, many businesses relied on face-to-face interactions, printed advertisements, and physical records. Customers had to visit shops to make inquiries, place orders, or make payments. Business transactions often took longer and required more effort from both sellers and buyers. Today, things are very different. The smartphone has become an essential business tool for companies of all sizes. Large corporations, small businesses, and individual entrepreneurs all depend on smartphones to communicate with customers, market their products, and manage daily operations. Social media platforms have created new opportunities for businesses to reach customers. Through WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, business can advertise products, respond to customers' inquiries, and receive orders without needing a physical shop. Many entrepreneurs have built successful businesses entirely online. Now, with smartphones and internet connection, people can talk to others from different cities, countries, and even continents within seconds. Distance is no longer a barrier. Social media platforms and messaging applications have made it possible for people to build relationships and interact with individuals they may never have met physically through social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. When you walk through the streets today, one thing becomes very clear. Smartphones have taken over everyday life. People are no longer fully present in the world around them. Instead, their attention is fixed on small glowing screens in their hands. As people walk along the streets, many are scrolling through social media, watching videos, or replying to messages. Some are listening to music with earphones on, completely disconnected from their surroundings. The streets, which used to be a place of awareness and interaction, has now become a space where people walk physically but mentally live inside their phones. Even simple moments from one place to another is now accompanied by constant phone use. While walking in the streets, smartphones have become a constant companion. Instead of looking ahead, people look down at their screens. They walk slowly, distracted by notifications, videos, and chats. Some even bump into others because their attention is not where they are going, but on what is happening online. The phones has changed something very simple like walking into a distracted activity. One of the most dangerous uses of smartphones can be seen on the roads. Drivers are sometimes seen holding phones while driving. Some are reading messages, others are answering calls, and others are checking social media while the vehicle is still moving. This creates a serious risk. A few seconds of distractions can lead to accidents, injuries, or even loss of life. The phone, which is meant to connect people, sometimes becomes a cause of danger when used at the wrong moment. Safety on the road is no longer just about driving skill, but also about discipline in phone use. Driving requires full attention. A driver must focus on the road, other vehicles, pedestrians, traffic lights, and sudden changes in movement. But when a smartphone is added into the mix, attention becomes divided. Another common scene on the streets today is pedestrians using smartphones while walking. As people move from one place to another, many are not fully aware of their surroundings. Instead, their attention is fixed on their screens. Some are scrolling through social medias, others are typing messages, and many are watching videos or listening to music with earphones plugged in. At matatu stages and taxi ranks, long lines of passengers are a normal part of daily life. People stand waiting for transport to take them to school, work, or home. But in today's world, waiting no longer looks the same. Instead of talking to each other or observing what is happening around them, most people in matatu lines are on their smartphones. In supermarkets today are not just places for shopping. They have become spaces where the physical world and the digital world exist side by side. As customers move through the aisles, selecting food, household items, and daily essentials, many are also busy on their smartphones. Some are answering phone calls while pushing shopping carts. Another scenario we see in classrooms, smartphones have become one of the biggest sources of distraction among students. A classroom is meant to be a place of learning, concentration, and discipline. It is where teachers pass knowledge and students are expected to listen, take notes, and engage in lessons. But the presence of smartphones has changed this environment in a major way. Even when lessons are ongoing, many students have their phones within reach. Some place them on their desks, others keep them in their pockets or bags, but the temptation is always there. A notification sound, a vibration, or even a silent glance at the screen can easily break concentration. Instead of focusing fully on the teacher, some students quietly check messages, scroll through social media, or watch short videos during class time. In some cases, students pretend to be paying attention while actually using their phones. under the desk or inside their books. This creates a situation where they are physically present but mentally distracted. As a result, learning becomes divided. Part of the attention in the classroom and part of it is in the digital world. Teachers continue teaching, explaining important concepts and asking questions, but not all students are fully engaged. In many schools today, smartphones have become part of student life, even though they are not always allowed in learning spaces. Students bring phones to school for different reasons. Some use them for communication with family, others for entertainment, and many for social media. However, what begins as simple use often turns into constant distraction. One of the most side effects of smartphones overuse among students is fatigue. Many young people today are constantly tired, even during important learning hours. This tiredness is not always because of schoolwork itself, but because of what happens after school, especially at night. After classes end, instead of resting or revising, many students spend long hours on their phones. They scroll through social media feeds, watch videos, chat with friends, and move from one app to another without noticing how much time has passed. What starts as a few minutes of phone use often turns into hours of continuous screen time. As the night goes on, sleep is delayed. Students stay awake much later than they should, even when they know they have school the following day. The phone keeps them entertained, distracted, and mentally active long after they should be resting. This leads to poor sleep patterns, and when the body does not get enough rest, fatigue becomes the result. In the morning, many students wake up feeling exhausted. They're physically present at school, but their energy is already low before the day even begins. In class, this tiredness becomes very clear. Some students struggle to keep their eyes open. Others lean on their desks, trying to fight sleep. A few completely lose focus and eventually fall asleep during lessons. Sleeping in class has become more common, not because students do not care about education, but because their bodies are not getting enough rest at night. Fatigue also affects concentration. A tired student cannot fully focus on what the teacher is saying. Even simple explanations become hard to follow. The minds feel slow, distracted, and unfocused. As a result, learning becomes less effective. Important information is missed. Assignments become harder to complete. Revision takes longer because the brain is already tired before studying even begins. Over time, this creates a cycle. Late night phone use leads to lack of sleep. Lack of sleep leads to fatigue. Fatigue leads to poor concentration in class. Poor concentration leads to more stress and pressure, which sometimes pushes students back to their phones for distraction again. It becomes a repeating cycle that is difficult to break. Teachers may notice students yawning frequently, losing focus during lessons, or struggling to stay awake. In some cases, students are even corrected for sleeping in class, yet the root cause often goes deeper than just laziness. It is a lifestyle shaped by constant phone use and reduced sleep. Fatigue also affects mood. Tired students can become easily irritated, less motivated, and less active in class discussions. Their interest in learning slowly reduces because their energy is constantly drained. The common habits among students today is choosing to watch their phones instead of studying. after school hours, when books are supposed to open and revision is supposed to begin, many students find themselves reaching for their smartphones instead. At first, it may seem harmless, just a quick look on social media, just a few videos, just a short chat with friends, but that short moment often becomes something much longer. Minutes turn into hours, one video leads to another, one message leads to a group chat, one scroll leads to an endless feed of content that never seem to stop. Before the student realizes it, study time has almost passed. For many young people, the phone feels more interesting than textbooks. Social media is fast, entertaining, and constantly changing. There is always something new to see, something new to watch, and something new to respond to. Sleeping with phones still on. Even when students finally decide to go to bed, the phone does not leave their hands. They lie down scrolling through social media, watching videos or chatting with friends while the lights are off and the room is quiet. The body is tired, but the mind is still active because of the screen. And even as sleep begins to take over, many students do not fully switch their phones. Instead, they leave them on, still connected, still vibrating, still receiving notifications. This happened for one main reason: the fear of missing out. There's a constant feeling that something important might happen online. Even though smartphones have become a major part of daily life, the habit of overuse can be changed. It is possible for young people to take back control of their time, their attention, and their daily routines. The first step is awareness. Many youth or students do not realize how much time they spend on their phones until they stop and reflect. Hours pass while scrolling through social media. Time that could have been used for studying, resting, or connecting with others is quietly lost. But once a person becomes aware of this pattern, change becomes possible. One of the most changes is creating limits, setting specific times for phone use and study time to help reduce distraction. Connecting with friends, having conversation with friends, taking nature walks, morning walks, and even joining running clubs, having to go hiking with friends. By joining hiking groups, running clubs, or simply taking nature walks with friends, young people begin to reconnect with themselves and with others in a more meaningful way. Reading is a simple activity, yet it carries deep value. It allows the mind to slow down, concentrate, and fully engage with one idea at a time. Unlike social media, where information comes in short, fast, and constantly changing bursts, reading encourages patience and understanding. A book does not send notifications, it does not interrupt, does not complete or compete for attention every few seconds. Instead, it creates a quiet space where the mind can settle and think deeply. For many students today, reading has become less common because smartphones offer instant entertainment. But when young people return to reading, they begin to notice important changes. Concentration improves, the mind becomes more focused, understanding becomes deeper, even memory becomes stronger because the brain is trained to follow ideas for longer periods without distraction. Reading also helps reduce dependence on smartphones. When a person is engaged in a book, there is less time to scroll through social media. Spending time with friends also reduces smartphone dependence. When friends meet physically, something different happens. Going out with friends creates real moments. My name is Hannah Wakesho, and this is a Smartphone Effects Among Youth.